Imagine buying a diesel car hailed as clean, only to learn years later it was a fraud.
Volkswagen sold these cars as clean diesel vehicles which had certain fuel economy and performance, and in fact, they lied in the course of submitting.
In 2015, regulators exposed Volkswagen's grand deception. The company secretly installed hidden defeat devices in its diesel engines.
The company pulled cars that contained an illegal software that tricked emissions tests.
These sensors detected when the car was being tested and temporarily cut pollution controls, making emissions appear legal, then switched them off on the road. Volkswagen didn't just bend the rules, they engineered an elaborate system to cheat the world.
There are still drivers who don't know if their VW car was rigged to cheat pollution targets.
It is the most breathtaking piece of corporate fraud and dishonesty that I am aware of.
The Environmental Protection Agency, stunned by the scope, called it a clear violation of the Clean Air Act. It all started back to the early 2000s. In America, gas was getting expensive, and people cared more about pollution.
Invest in renewables, invest in alternative energy. This country should be a leader on alternative energy.
Volkswagen, a German company known for great engineering, wanted to sell more cars in America. But American pollution rules were really tough, especially for diesel cars.
The head of the EPA said today that he wants to revise fuel emission standards for cars and trucks.
Volkswagen's bosses put a lot of pressure on their teams. Make a powerful, fuel-efficient diesel car that also met these tough rules.
It does put them in a very tough spot, so they have relied on the clean diesel technology as their entry into the alternative fuel wars that we've seen waging in the U.S. market.
The car of the future will definitely be one with as low emissions as possible. We're quite confident that the Volkswagen brand will continue to grow, and I'm sure will grow even more in the U.S.
The real problem was it was incredibly hard to make a diesel engine that was both strong and truly clean without it costing too much money. So instead of finding a real solution, Volkswagen engineers found a different way.
So the diesel emission scandal was the use of software by the likes of VW to make their cars appear to be emitting fewer harmful chemicals during testing than they actually did when they were out on the road.
These devices are on most cars. They basically are anything in the emissions computer that takes in data and adjusts how the emissions system works.
They put a special computer program, a secret code, inside their cars. This code was designed to trick the pollution tests. It was a clever piece of tech, but it was used for a bad purpose, to lie. When a car was being officially tested in a lab, this hidden program would kick in. The car would run quietly with less power and seem very clean. It would pass the test easily, but the moment that same car was driven on a normal road, the secret program would turn off the pollution controls. This let the engine use its full power and save fuel, but it also pumped out pollution, specifically something called nitrogen oxides, at levels that were up to 40 times higher than allowed. They basically bet that no one would ever find out about this huge lie. This hidden program was Volkswagen's big advantage.
To mention one figure, last year we sold over 600,000 cars in the US. The Volkswagen brand has broken the 400,000 barrier for the second time.
It allowed them to sell cars that felt strong and saved fuel, while also claiming they were good for the planet. This clever secret program helped them sell millions of cars and grow very big, all while pretending to be environmentally friendly. It wasn't one single bad deal. It was more like a silent agreement within the company. There was huge pressure to reach sales goals, and any worries about right or wrong were ignored. Some people inside Volkswagen knew about the secret program and tried to warn their bosses, but their warnings were pushed aside. The company was so focused on being number one, they didn't want anything to get in their way. For many years, Volkswagen got away with
When
it.
researchers at WVU received funding to test emissions in motor vehicles, they happened to secure 2 Volkswagen models for testing.
We would never make any kind of conclusion based off of 2 vehicles. I think what we did is we presented what we saw. This led to an independent investigation by the EPA and by the California Air Resources Board, and that's led to what, the announcements that came out on Friday.
Volkswagen's big lie was about to be exposed. When the government regulators saw this proof, Volkswagen first tried to deny it. They made up excuses, blaming software glitches or bad measurements. They tried to stall and hide the truth. But the proof was too strong.
First of all, the investigations are ongoing, but this was not a corporate decision. But this was a couple of software engineers. What I said was, to my understanding, this was not a corporate decision. This was something individuals did.
The US government agencies, the EPA and CARB, had them caught.
He's been disgraced and replaced. But the troubles aren't over for Volkswagen's former CEO, Martin Winterkorn. US prosecutors say he defrauded the government, and they're launching criminal proceedings against him.
In September 2015, Volkswagen finally had to admit everything.
The testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I would like to offer a sincere apology for Volkswagen's use of software program that served to defeat the regular emissions testing regime.
The line between right and wrong was now very clear. It wasn't a mistake. It was a planned act to cheat.
VW is trying to get the United States of America to believe these are a couple of rogue engineers. I categorically reject that.
Inside Volkswagen, things were a mess. The CEO, Martin Winterkorn, quit his job quickly. Other high-ranking people were suspended, arrested, and even faced criminal charges.
Oliver Schmidt, he was a senior manager at Volkswagen. He was sentenced today to 7 years in a U.S. prison.
The company, which used to be so strong and united, was now full of mistrust and blame. Because of this huge scandal, Volkswagen had to change completely. Their dream of clean diesel was dead. Their new future had to be truly clean. So, they decided to focus on electric cars. They spent billions of euros developing new electric cars, building battery factories, and changing how they made cars. It was a massive, forced change, born from a terrible scandal, but it was also a chance to truly become a clean company.
Volkswagen is going to start focusing on electric cars. After its pollution scandal, the company plans to cut spending by $1 billion each year.
But even as Volkswagen changed, the challenge didn't go away. The scandal made everyone look closely at the entire car industry. Other car companies also faced questions about their pollution. The new challenge wasn't just other car brands. It was the public demanding honesty and environmental responsibility from all companies. The rules had changed forever. The final cost for Volkswagen was enormous. They faced huge fines and had to pay out billions of euros in different countries.
An Australian court has ordered Volkswagen to pay record damages worth nearly $90 million for its role in an emissions cheating scandal.
In the US alone, they paid nearly $15 billion to buy back cars, pay back owners, and fund environmental cleanup projects. It was a massive financial penalty, sending a clear message that cheating on this scale would come with a very high price.